How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Down the Rabbit Hole. The entire crew is here. So today we're going to be talking about 86. This is an anime that came out last year. Oh no, 2021. And then the second half came out in 2022. This is probably not, I want to say, up Chibi's alley because it's very dark. But Jack did suggest this one. And I want to give him, hold on. Let's give him a round of applause. Brad, can you hit the clap meme, please? He's looking for it. Hit it for him, please. That's not it. Hey, this is the first one where Jack that suggested the anime, and he did not need a mulligan, so I'm very proud of him. He didn't just look at a picture and say that looks pretty good, Dad. He somehow probably saw the high score on Crunchyroll and was like, you know what, this one's not gonna be that bad. Can't get mad at me. No one can disrespect me. So. Initially, we were going to do 12 episodes. Some things happened, and I think the bulk of us watched all 24. Brad only watched, I think, 12, so that's fine, whatever. So let's talk about 86. Let's start with Jack because you suggested it. Tell me what you think, man.
It was really good. It's like we were saying before we started. It's depressing as fuck. There's so much death, and I'm kind of glad that. Is it Milize or Mirize?
What do they? I don't think they call her
because they have her listed as Mirize online, but I thought they've been saying Milize.
They call her. Let's call her Lena or Lena, right? They call her Lena. Yeah.
All right. So I was glad. I was happy that Lena got to finally catch up to them. Yeah. Although I thought was
spoiler
maybe
alert for Brad. We know you didn't watch.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, I assumed that's what happens, and they just live happily ever after. So.
Yeah.
I mean sure.
I almost thought they weren't going to up to like episode 22 or something like that.
Yeah.
But they did, and that was a happy moment.
Okay. So I mean, do you want to explain what the anime was about? You do not have
racism. It was just racism.
Essentially, yeah.
Racism.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much.
Was.
It is. It is kind of like racist. But it's you have two factions, I guess. You have the Republic, and then you have the Legions. And the Legions are often what? They take the brains from
their AI that was
their AI.
Yeah. So their AI that was created by the Empire of Gilead. I think that's how they're pronounced.
Yeah.
And basically, like, the AI became self-aware and then wanted to, they essentially, like, I think it was out of self-defense at first, and then they just kind of went rampant, became self-aware, and then saw that
they were almost all angry.
Yeah, they saw that humans were a threat, and then every time they were looking to kill or, take down, like, a human unit or whatever it was, they decapitate them, take their head, and then, they would, like, assimilate them into this large AI. And what you see at first is, like, we talked about the Republic of San Magnolia. So what they do is, like the 86 does a really good job of, like, really setting up this world in the first 12 episodes. And it really feels like, because, like, it's interesting because the first 12 don't really talk about anybody else, any other Republic. It feels like they're very isolated.
Yeah.
And then we find out that,
there's more
in the second half of the show that Brad completely didn't watch, that there are other, like, republics that have survived. So, and I assumed that, like, they've been essentially just ignored. So, like, what, except for that the republic they end up, like, washing up in, like, the survivors of 86, which is, like, a really fucked up thing.
Mm-hmm.
They end up in what's the area called? Shit.
Oh, I forgot.
I think it's just called the Federacy. Oh no, it's the Federacy of Gilead, because you had the Empire, then it was the Federacy. So with the Federacy, like, they know what's happening. Like, they're aware that, like, what happened with the Empire. They're aware about Legion. They're also aware about the other countries and stuff like that. And then the second half kind of sets up, like, they're going through their normal lives. They want to be soldiers, and they're trying to fight Legion. And then Legion has, like, this really big plan to attack everyone on all fronts, which is, like, fantastic. They build, like, this massive railgun. It's really good stuff. Like, this reminded me a lot of Gundam in a way,
Yeah.
But it was so much like more darker than I thought it would be, honestly, because you have like a character in Shin who, you know, would be like your prototypical, like, you know, I would say like romantic interest for like a lot of the women, right? But he's more like this really traumatized character
Mm-hmm.
who,
very.
like when they bring up the whole 86 conversation, like when they talk about these people, it is fucked up how like they were pretty much pushed to the side based off the way they looked. And I think the most interesting thing was like Shin and his brother or his family were like they had like this telepathy that was like the most.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like a random subplot.
It felt they just like injected it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like this was like a very dark anime in the first half, because it was essentially like, hey, the 86 are there to like just be out there in the front, and they're individuals who are trying to get like, you know, at least a reprieve. They get like what I think it's like 5 years to be at the front at all times, and then they don't even get a chance to even survive. Right?
No.
Shin
no,
is
not
only
at all.
Shin is only surviving either based off like skill or dumb luck. I don't know how it is. It's just plot armor, right? Because the way they portray the Legion is that they're pretty much like unstoppable killing machines, and somehow Shin has survived for that long period of time, being known as the Reaper. And then it just ends up like being really dark and grim. The last couple episodes are kind of hopeful. It's like they have like this really sad. There's a lot of melodrama in the with like him and Lena
They gotta
talking.
keep it interesting,
right?
man.
But the one thing that I think that this show does excellent is like the growth of the characters. Like they fucking really do a good job with Lena's character, Shin's character, and just watching them develop as they go along. Right.
Except all the other characters.
So all the other characters, they're just like, why is he sad, bro? Like, what the fuck? Let's just shoot people. But this is based off a light novel, for those who don't know.
I did
and
not know
I
that.
think that the first 24 episodes, first 2 seasons actually only cover like, I think they said like 4 volumes.
How many volumes are there?
I think there's like 8 right now.
Damn, what the fuck?
Oh, there's a whole like
Sheesh.
story. So if you weren't satisfied with like the romantic subplot between Shin and Lena, it's like, nah, there's like a whole thing that happens afterwards from what I've read.
Say less.
But this was
Do you think they're sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is a widely popular like adaptation. I remember when this came out on Crunchyroll, like that's all people talked about. Like 86 might be anime of the year. And I thought it was really good. You know, I want to get Brad's thoughts on it before we go to Chibi, because it's 12 episodes for him. Like, what did you think? Because I know this is not up your alley, dude. This was like dark and grim, and people are dying.
So, I mean, it's an interesting concept, right? You know, racism and
racism is an interesting concept.
Spoken well.
Holy shit!
Fucking mic off.
Quote him. Quote him.
So I was actually talking to a friend at work about this show. I was like, "Yeah, I need to watch this show, 86." He's like, "Yo, if you love racism, you're gonna love this show."
What the fuck, man?
And I was like,
was he also a white man?
Was he also a white guy?
I can't. It's classified.
It's classified. No, that means he is.
Yeah.
No, it's it started off. It actually started off weird. So like immediately, like within 30 minutes, I was like, "This is just a Gundam
knockoff, right?"
Yeah, like it was just like a different way of being, because Gundam's always sad. I don't think there's ever been like a happy Gundam. So there might be less dark Gundam, but I don't know if there's been just like a happy Gundam.
It always devolves into like this hugely political, like there's political theater, there's war, betrayal. I told what was that one Chibi I told you about? Was it War of the Gemini, where it's like Gundam in high school or whatever?
Oh,
but they're like building super soldiers and shit, and I'm like, oh my god, the fuck is going on?
But there is some touching moments, right? I mean, there were a few moments where I was like, I gotta hold it together, right? I can't cry in the show. So
Brad ugly cried during an anime, dude. What the fuck's going on with this guy?
No such thing.
And it's because she never went to them, right? I was like, you should just go to the front lines. That's all you gotta do.
You should just die. Give up your dreams and die.
Because you're just a hypocrite, you know. You wouldn't. I will say her best friend, the like
scientist.
The scientist lady, she's the biggest dick in the world. I didn't like her at all.
I did not either.
I think that it's interesting because like that's kind of a good portrayal of like what guilt looks like, what, you know, of an individual who like, and you can really make comparisons to like World War II with the Nazis and stuff like that, like the way that like some people kind of betrayed, you know, their own people. Like that guilt that you felt of like giving up people that you used to know and live next to, that type of stuff. I thought it was a really good portrayal of it, because you could tell like the person was tortured because of the decision. But you know, to Brad, it's like she's just a bitch,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Oh no, I
I-
agree with Brad on this
there
one.
were some logic breakdowns, and it like nothing specific to like any scene, but like just the whole like how the war was laid out, and they were trying to erase the 86 while just surviving against the Legion for the remainder of the time. I was like, unless you just time it impeccably, where they all die the day the legions go away, you either have remaining 86 and they have done nothing but fight for over a decade, and you have a whole populace of people that have no combat experience whatsoever. So I was like, either you have a revolution on your hand, or you get overrun by Legion.
Well, that's actually a good point,
Yeah.
because the Republic of Sang Magnolia is essentially like they lied to their people. They used propaganda to tell them that, look, man, we're waging this war, but we're using unmanned drones, so like there's
Right.
no danger to
Right.
humans. So pretty much, but like that was the thing. That's how they pretty much took the 86s. They took those humans and said like, hey, we look like this, so just like the Aryan race with the Nazis,
Mhm.
like blonde hair, blue eyes, but it's white hair. Was it
Like-
purple eyes, whatever?
Something like
But
that.
Lighter
they
eyes,
had
yeah.
a specific look, and they said you're less than us. But hey, if you want to, like, kind of like get your live in like a different sector, live in a different like different caste system, whatever. What we're gonna do is that we're gonna give you an opportunity to serve in the 86th district, and then you can go ahead and do 5 years. But like the survival chances are low, and there's always kill squads, right? That shit was dark. That was actually like really well done too,
Mhm.
because you know, that time, like it's interesting because I didn't think like there'd be so many like dark parallels. For those who like don't follow like a lot of military manga or like Gundam, there's always like usually like there's a lot of anti-war rhetoric, right? That's infused in this, and there's a lot of like anti-nationalism as well, and that's essentially what this show also portrayed. Like a lot of writers always push that in Gundam. It's like, dude, why are we like nationalism is wrong, or it's blind nationalism, that type of stuff, and they always try to like go away from it. So that's essentially kind of like explaining like how 86 saw itself. So if you are in like a huge history buff, like you'll actually like this type of stuff.
And they never made 186 joke.
I know, right? Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
You're
True.
86th, and
Yeah,
just
no.
like blast. And it's like,
You're out.
there was no one liners when you had the moment to one line. You know, like what the fuck, dude? Say something cool. You know, I know everyone died, dude, but like you can't just say a cool line when you're killing these 86 these fucking Legion, dude. What's going on here?
and also, I don't think the Juggernauts like looked that effective. I mean, obviously they
That
were,
was the
but
point.
like
That like in these so what they find out is that when they get to the Federacy, they find out that like the basically like the same ships those mechs they were creating, they're like
Yeah.
the same type of design. Like, yeah, the Juggernauts were the same way, and they kept trying to push that too. Like Shin was like, no, we call them Juggernauts because they fucking suck. Like that's essentially what they are. They're like they're not good. They're not good mobility wise. They're not good in terms of like durability, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like it just I would assume like cheaply produced, right, and can be done in mass production. So, but you're right that the Juggernauts are like, hey, we just have you out there. Can you just shoot a cannon and then constantly have to reload? Like, holy crap, dude! How do you expect these people to survive?
Yeah.
They don't.
They
No.
don't. There you go.
That's the thing, yeah.
Chibi, what did you think?
I
Finally
mean,
getting-
you're fine. I mean, same type of thing. I wouldn't even say this necessarily wasn't up my alley. It is dark. That is always the thing that dissuades me from certain animes, but I did really like the parallels with history in this one. I mean, kind of like what you guys said, there's a lot of parallels that you can take away. And I thought the idea itself was really interesting. I mean, it's fucked up, but at the end of the day, there's truth to it. Like, I mean, we've seen it in the world in the past. Like it can happen and it's sad, but and it's real. But I don't know. I really liked kind of how you said too, like with the character growth from like the first half to the second. And then I think the ending was what really kind of sold it for me. And I'm glad I was able to finally watch it. And because I think that's what happened. I watched the first half and then I was like, bro, fuck this shit. I'm not watching like anymore. Like I'm sad. So finally being able to have that conclusion ish at the end, and having, you know, Lena be able to finally, like Jack said, catch up was really satisfying. And bro, I had to hold back tears There was tears in the eyes.
I think my expectation was that there wasn't going to be a happy ending. Like
Yeah,
Brad
kind of
said.
same.
I kind of thought it was going to end on
The
a cliff.
direction it was going.
Yeah, I thought it was going to
Yeah.
end on a cliffhanger. I mean, because like, you know, if you have this light novel that's ongoing and the property is as popular as it is, like I mean, I think a lot of people think there was going to be a third season, but I haven't seen any confirmation on it.
That was a question earlier. Like, did you think that there would be a third season or anything more just because of how popular it was?
I thought so. I mean, this was
Yeah.
like it was crazy how like I don't think people really talked about it at first. There were like murmurs like, "Oh, 86 this is really good. You should watch it." And then I was like looking at the reviews and it was like all 9s and 10s and I was like, "Holy shit, this is like just crazy." And then, you know, after its first 12 episodes, I was like, "Oh, so this will probably like, you know, maybe there's a second half." You know, and I once again, I kind of disagree with like them doing the whole first half, second half thing. But if they do it right,
Yeah.
like this is done correctly. Like I think there was a good job. But the first half, like you could kind of also tell that like they weren't dead. The moment they fell kind of bloodless on the ground, I was like, okay, so everyone survived because everybody else got fucking maimed. Like the one thing I really liked about this show is that they committed. Like when they showed people getting torn the fuck apart, they were not joking about that. They were like people getting like taking like the big pincers into the chest, like Shin just like shooting cats all the time. It's like, oh, I can't let them take your brain. I was like, oh my god. And Brad, you didn't see probably the most tragic death, but it was what was that kid's name? It was the guy with the glasses. Ah man, it was on the second half of the season. It was in what episode was it?
Name. Here, I can try to pull it up.
I had to try to look.
Was it Dustin?
Was it Dustin? He gets shot in the head. So basically, what they were doing was that when they start to integrate with the Federacy, they start to like kind of they're trying to live a
The
normal
guy
life.
he makes friends with, right?
Yeah. What they're doing, Brad, is that they're trying to like have this like they're trying to integrate them into a normal life. Like these people, like the Federacy, really give a shit about the 86s. They're like, hey, you guys are kids. You guys shouldn't be going out here trying to fight wars for us. We really want you guys to like stop doing this. But they feel like there's a commitment. You know, they feel like there's something missing from their lives without this type of, you know, purposes for war. Yeah. So he eventually meets a guy. I honestly think he was an Alba too, because he had the white hair. But he meets this guy at the library. Is it Dustin?
Yeah, I think it's Dustin.
Is that his name? I don't want to. I don't want to butcher this.
Calls him out. It wasn't Dustin.
So like, who are you talking about, bro? Like, someone tell Jack to shut the fuck up.
Let me double check.
Over a name? Jesus. But it's Eugene.
Oh, Eugene.
How the hell did you get dusted? What the fuck?
I don't know. I was looking at the first person with glasses on the fucking character sheet.
Yep, there is a person with glasses.
So basically,
all I know is he had a sister.
So basically, he befriends Eugene. Eugene's like the first person to get to be nice to him, and then this is when the Federation's like, "Hey, we want to train you guys to be like our special pilots to fight against the Legion." And so he's like, "Okay," and so like Shin and his team become officers, and they're running this experimental program, and they end up entering into combat with the Legion, and then Eugene is there, and I think he's managing like one of the smaller. Not one of the prototype like little like mobilized units, but he ends up like they kind of show like, hey, we've just been like we're getting attacked, we have to go back to defend the front, and then they kind of flash. And one thing I love about 86 is they don't have to show the combat for it to be effective when someone is like dead. So pretty much you catch up and like Eugene is on the ground, bloody, like the detail on his face is fantastic. Like he literally looks like he's at like verge of death. He's like, hey, can I get my locket? And so like. He has to go find his arm, pull the locket out of his hand, and pull up and like show him his sister's face. And he's like, "Can you please kill me?" And he shoots him in the head. And I was like, "That was fucking amazingly done."
Through the locket.
Through the locket.
Yeah.
He's like, "Now you and your sister can be together, bro." His sister's alive, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like one of those anime that like it constantly kind of. It usually shows the aftermath sometimes, and I think they probably just did that for time. But as we were going through like the first 12 episodes, they weren't showing like a lot of the 86s being killed. Have you guys know that? Like Spearhead, they were just like, hey, yeah, that person died on this day, and it was like, are we intentionally trying to show like these other people were like just cannon fodder? Like this is just like day-to-day shit for them, because that's really effective storytelling too. It's like they're just so used to it, you know?
Yeah.
Brutal stuff.
I mean, then they go into it knowing they're gonna die.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because it's like when you get all these people, when you're like convincing these individuals to go into like this Suicide Squad, like essentially, I mean, like I guess you're just trying to play the odds, right? Like, or you just want to die on your own terms and stuff like that, which I
Right.
think also a pretty powerful statement. But I was so curious about, like, at some point someone's gonna be like, man, fuck this, I'm taking these things and running. How
Well, so
far?
that's
Yeah, go
that's
ahead.
kind of my argument is at some point either the Legion goes away or you still have 86 left that have been trained in using these mechs for the last decade.
And other people
When
haven't, correct? Yeah.
with your entire populace, even the military, just being like drunk idiots the entire time because there are no casualties over the last 10 years or so, they say. So it's like I don't see this ending well, like either way, either the 86 win or the Legion win. Like there is no other
And you got to think,
real
like,
solution here.
however long this has gone on for, like, eventually, like, the populace would have somebody investigating and finding out. Even though, like, if you think of like the age of like misinformation that we live in, right? Because shit gets diluted. Like, it's the telephone game constantly, depending on whatever social platform you're on. But you think that like somehow someone would be like, this is fucking wrong, dude. We have drone operators who aren't really like drone operators. They're just chilling, letting these people get killed, and like they're aware of it too. You know
Like
what
there's
I mean?
not a picture
Yeah.
or like
It just took this
I mean,
one.
they
It just took
do
this one
wander
white girl,
off.
bro.
Right. I mean, they do eventually wander off, but it looks like just Legion are everywhere.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's once again, also there's this thing that I've seen. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but if you guys watch these anime, they're like, especially the isekais, like, doesn't like every walled off city look the same?
It honestly does now that you say it. Like it kind of does.
Every walled off city kind of looks the same. Like, are we in Attack on Titan? Like, what the fuck are we on right now? And what is what happened? Who is that? Bean in the back getting a blanket over?
Bro, Bean like will scream if he's not under. Look at him, he's laying down. If he
That's
does
funny.
not have a blanket on top of him like that, he will freak out.
Got
So
it.
I had to mute my mic because he's
got a
you can like you'll go back and you'll see him just standing here staring at me going,
he's got a comfort blanket like
he
that.
does. Yeah.
But I was really surprised by this. It was I remember when it first came out, I was like, okay, this is pretty good. And then I was like, oh, this is fucking dark. Oh, is the whole first season, kind of like the saddest thing? Like, how did everybody feel about the melodrama? Did you guys feel like it was too tacked on or too on the nose at times? I know you
kinda
wouldn't
like
mind
they
it,
needed
Chibi.
Okay, fine. I'm not in
I
this
feel like they
conversation. with this
needed it.
one.
If the entire 24 episodes was just straight up death and fucking Shin just shooting heads all the time, then it's just
Brad would been like,
I
that was
think
an
it
amazing
would-
movie. What are you talking about?
Shin
I
defects
mean, he's
to
over there
Legion.
acting like John Wick.
The Shin Defense Force. What did you think, Brad? Like, did you think that it was too melodramatic, or did you like there was like a good balance there, or do you feel like there was a good balance there?
Yeah, I felt like it. I felt like the drama was justified, right? Because there were some serious like human right debate type type aspects of it, right? It's like a hey, these are not unevolved beings. These are just us.
Yeah, they're just people.
Like they used to live right next door to you. Like they just literally were shipped off and called pigs.
Fucking World War II Germany, baby. That's what this was essentially with mechs.
Basically.
But that's like that they do that a lot, by the way, and like everything. That's why like when you watch like a lot of like Gundam and stuff, you're like, that person, they're it's clear that there's like segregation there, or they're uncomfortable because this individual is who they are. Do the same shit in like Godzilla, right? Godzilla always has like an actual theme to it. Unless you're watching Godzilla King Kong, then it's big lizard fight big ape, and they just go like this all the time. But here it's like there's like so much depth to the story. Like there's a lot of substance. I'm glad you pointed that out, Brad. I'm very proud of you for not just being like, well, Mash will just he punches people.
I was waiting for Shin to like go Super Saiyan or something, and like he is the mech. Like he's actually an AI controlling this body, and he is the mech. Toto's actually the one controlling the Spearhead Squadron, and
Okay.
he's slowly killing off the weaker AI,
The weaker AI.
subsets so he can focus his strength solely on the 5 that. But then Tito or Fido. There we go.
Fido!
Fido.
Get my
Literally-
man's
literally
name straight. That's
Fido's
the
the best
character.
robot boy.
He's the
Yeah.
best character in
Yes,
this
he
whole
until he
is.
show.
dies
He
and
is.
just you forget
Yeah,
about
actually,
him.
Listen.
spoiler alert, he don't.
He don't.
No,
Don't.
he's dead.
No, he's not,
He
bro.
don't.
They
No, he's
Not in
reformatted
the
it.
second half.
Yep.
Maybe
Trust
you
me,
should
Brad. I
watch
was
the
in
whole
tears.
show.
Brad, I was crying, bro. I was like, way.
They kill the robot dog. Why?
Why'd they do that?
He needed to
Why'd
be
they
put
do
down. So
that? I almost made a joke about eating him.
Oh no.
Hide your robot dogs.
I'm gonna eat him.
The 86 are eating the robot dogs. And they're eating the robot cats. You need to hide them shits. I thought that for the most part, like, at least all the main characters were well represented. Does everyone feel like that? Like they were actually all well written.
Yeah.
I think there's one character where I was probably not too attached to. What was his name? He was a little blonde kid. Theodo. Like I really Theo. I wasn't like
he was okay.
I wasn't like his character felt kind of underdeveloped at times and considered like Raiden and Corinne and Anju. Like Anju's character was like, constantly afraid to be around or afraid to talk to Lena. But they all warmed up to him, right? I was kind of curious like as to how like everyone felt like about the format, right? About like how it felt like there was more dialogue at times than there was like scenes of action in the first half, right? Brett, Jack, how'd you feel about that? How'd you feel about all that yakking?
I mean, I didn't mind it. It was much, especially when they had those nightly conversations with Lena.
But everything was
And they
better
would
because
just
it was
talk and
dubbed.
talk. Yes. It was dubbed.
I didn't have to read, bro.
I understood every fucking word that was said.
I know why she's sad, bro. She cannot be with them. It's like Romeo and Juliet with Max.
Right.
You do that voice way too well.
Which
I just
one?
want to point that out.
Which
that one you just did.
Oh, the Cali like surfer guy. I used to mock my friends doing that in high school. What is that like with you, bro?
It's too good.
Chibi, how'd you feel about like all the dialogue and stuff like that?
Bro, you know I don't give a fuck. I know I thought it was good. I mean there was a couple times where I was like, especially towards like the end of I think the first half, I was just kind of like, all right. But like it wasn't where I was like, man, I gotta drop this shit because there's not enough action, It was kind of like a reprieve from the depressing parts of everyone dying in combat.
I think everyone had to feel at that point that like the ball was gonna drop, right?
Yeah.
Like the moment you kind of get into these like really, grim or grounded anime or any type of show, like there's always like you can't have too much happy. If you have too much happy and then like someone has like a backstory, that character's probably gonna fucking die. Like if they start talking about their family. Did anyone think Shin was gonna die? Brad, did you think Shin was gonna die at any point in time? Like they like pull like a hard swerve and shit like that and then kill him?
So actually I think it was episode 11 where like he gets caught and like he gets the leg ripped off, and it like just cuts away from those 5. It showed them on the ground, none of them were bloody, and then there was like almost a full episode where none of them were shown, and I was like, did they like? Are we just not going to talk about them anymore? Like they're just showing like the next group of people.
We're
I
just
was like,
showing
is that done? Are they done? Because they ran out of ammo, they ran out of fuel. They were caught in a field full of Legion. I was like, so that's it. They don't even show like how they died, like how they actually died. They're just on the ground. But I was like, something has to happen because that was like a real waste of 11 episodes, knowing there's another 10 to 12 more to go. If literally the entire squad dies. So I would assume that he himself at least would survive.
Was the expectation for them to be saved by like a different group? Like what were you expecting to happen? Like give me like your headcanon of it.
Well, so that was the thing, right? At that point, there really was no other entity, right? There was just the Legion or the Saint whatever.
San Magnolia. The Republic, yeah.
That one, yeah. So the Republic, right? They didn't speak about the Confederacy or any other nation. Now the uncle major guy, he did speak about them being the like international pariah if their secrets were revealed. So I expected there to be some other entity, whether it be just like a survivor group or like some type of coalition of some sort. But so after they go into the unknown space, they kept showing railroad tracks. So I assumed that she was going to get on a train and find them. That was kind of like my whole expectation was like she was actually eventually just going to go.
Can you imagine how casual that would have been, dude?
She just shows up with a train like on they're all about to die, and she shows up with just a bunch of machine guns. Just
what's up, guys?
Oh my
with the cat in the back seat.
Oh my God, Shin, we found you. Like, we just had this big military train behind us. But now we have to bring you back to the military. We have to smuggle you back into the country and stuff like that. That's a good point that you picked up on that the uncle had mentioned it.
And then he becomes the Pope. Right, because he has that like mental connection with the Legion, so he becomes their spiritual leader.
Is it weird that it's one character that has that mental connection?
Hear all that?
Yeah.
I wonder if they dive into that in the light novel. Like that, like you said, it was such an off thing to just like put in, or like it was random.
Yeah.
And of course that's why they brought up the whole telepathy with between him and his brother.
The experimentation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's like, how do you think we got these long-range communicators? I'm like, that's fucking wild, dude. Like, good on those kids, though, for advancing technology, right? I mean, essentially.
Right.
For those who do not know, for those who are, like, literally, like, when they hide themselves in the sand or some shit, like, war is pretty much the greatest advancer for technology. I'm serious when I say that.
No. Look at the Cold War.
Yeah, look at the Cold War. Look at World War I, World War II. Like, the advances between, I think, what was it, 20
look at Star Wars.
Yeah, the start of 1917 and World War I. Then it's like 1935, 1936 for like World War II.
I know Cold War was like 45.
Yeah, I know, Brad. I heard you, you little shit. That's why I ignored you.
Oh, I just ignored
Look at the Star Wars, bro.
Oh my God.
They got the Death Star, man. It didn't take nothing.
He ain't wrong though. That's the sad part.
But yeah, I mean that's like the one thing they did a good job about this too, is that like they showed that like human advancement or advancement in general does not come without great suffering.
Oh, right.
My God, there's a quote about something like that, or something about great sacrifice comes.
I was watching the Terminator anime that just came out on Netflix, which it's okay. It's a little bit too predictable, but they have a great quote in it. It's like pretty much humans build stuff, but like they immediately weaponize the things that are supposed to help them, and that's essentially what you see here, right? You can imagine that like when you build these like large devices like the Juggernauts, like you could use them for construction, building, whatever, maintaining public safety. And your first thought was like, let me attach a cannon on that. Brad's first thought, if we put a flamethrower and then two chainsaws, like we fucking like we're not only chopping down trees, but we're chopping down people. Like that's how we keep our enemies in control.
Chopping everything.
But who builds a machine and then they weaponize themselves?
Well, I mean, that's always been the controversial conversation about AI.
And then Aloy shows up and just starts shooting arrows at all the robots.
And then we nuke the fucking the world. That's like spoilers for Horizon. It's like the world gets nuked, and then we're back to the Stone Age, and then we have to use bow and arrows again, but we have technology also, so all that shit doesn't really make sense. Somehow we got velociraptors and stuff, whatever. But no, I thought the show itself did a really good job. Now, I didn't read much of the graphic novel or the light novel. I just like looked up some of the summaries. Mm-hmm. But I think they do talk about like the aftermath of what happens with Legion, Morpho, and stuff like that. I think it's really fascinating. Like I think it becomes more like a political thriller at times. So, and that's kind of like how like some of the other anime I've seen, like Attack on Titan. I know everyone here doesn't like it, but there was a kind of an advancement where Attack on Titan goes from like monster anime, right, to political fucking thriller.
Yeah, especially last season.
And I'm like, where the fuck did this come from?
It was an interesting take, but yeah, it was one of those where I was like, holy shit, out of every direction, did not think you would go in that direction.
Yeah, and I think that, well, it's kind of like the way people should kind of like, when you look at 86, it's like Brad was right. They didn't talk about any other entity. At least I would assume that the civilian populace didn't know. Right, because like the way they've hid the propaganda saying that 86 aren't people, they're just whatever. And then we realize that like the other entities, the Confederacy and stuff like that, they're well aware of how fucked up San Magnolia is. As like just like they're like, do you just ignore us? Like we're fucking here. Like, and so they, Brad, you don't know, they band together, they become Ultron, and they fight like the war on multiple fronts and stuff like that. I like the way they show like how like pretty much Legion is so devastating and so quick to mass produce that like they pretty much like were almost the moment like I think it was the Confederacy tried to get on their offensive, like Shin had to like hold one of the officers at gunpoint, like get your fucking people up, we're being attacked right now. So basically Shin is like your get out of fucking jail free card because of the telepathy thing too, which I'm like, if we think about it, the 86 probably would have just died and that cycle would have just kept happening until he came along with the telepathy. So he is the baby born from plot armor.
Our baby boy plot armor.
And then
Well,
speak to why he's survived for so long too.
Correct, yeah.
Oh, true.
I mean, but his brother also had the ability, and it didn't go so well for him.
Well, somebody had to die, Brad.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that
we can't.
Somebody hit the
Shin.
Phil Shin's rage.
Yeah.
Oh,
Someone had to be
actually,
his driving force.
Yeah, there was a logic break for me.
Okay.
Something that wouldn't have happened. So when they first go out on the death mission or whatever, right, and they encounter his brother and they fight him or whatever. When Lena kidnaps the scientist and like forces her to like hack into the artillery and
Just starts dropping
like-
barrages
like-
and stuff.
like
Yeah.
like breaks the protocols to like link through the eyes. I was like, oh, she's gonna be in a lot of trouble. And then they're like, oh, she got house arrest for that. I was like, no. I was like, she like hacked into some systems or something. And
The way Brad
like-
said that is like she's gonna be in a lot of trouble if they find out.
House arrest.
and I was like, what? She can just like freely go visit places because she's on house arrest. That doesn't make
I
any
think
sense.
she's also royalty.
Well,
I
yeah,
think, or
I know she's
some
like
elite or
yeah,
something like
Yeah.
that.
I know she is some nobility.
No, yeah, she's
like, noble
she's the colonel's niece too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm pretty
But
sure like
it
he
was
was
just
trying
like
to be lenient.
well, okay. So for one thing, if he didn't want her to do what she was doing, he literally should have just been like, "You're not the leader of that group anymore." Like that would have solved a lot of his problems.
But didn't he demote her?
With the rank, not the title. Like she was
Yeah.
still the leader of Spearhead in the second
Oh,
platoon.
Yeah, true.
But she was just a different rank. She had a little streak in her hair. But I was like, from his perspective, he just like ignored all of it and allowed it to happen and was just mad when she did the things. And I'm like, he had the ability just to be like, you can lead anyone else, but you can't lead that
I
one
think-
particular.
I think in a way the dude feels guilt, right? I assume that he had a conscience, right? Like
Oh, yeah,
unlike the other fucking people who are just like, oh, she's angry again. She's it's like all right, dude, fuck off. Like, no, but I don't disagree with that. Like, and also like the way she was so masterfully able to destroy fucking the swath of Legion in front of her using like the artillery was like pretty insane. I was like, holy shit! Like you can like I've met like a lot of trained officers who just can't bracket mortar fire like that. Like she's just like, all right, I know where they are. I'm like, god damn,
Covered
dude.
bomb.
Like, yeah, where the fuck were you? She was so effective in that. I also thought she was a good character too. By the way,
Yeah, she was.
I thought she was a solid character. I think like I said, I think every character was pretty well represented except for like Theo. I kind of wish they did more with him. And then Brad, you obviously didn't watch the second half. So like Frederica is like this little girl. She's the former princess of the Empire.
So I knew that was
You knew
so
that? Okay.
the last episode that I watched was when they were brought into the house and they introduced her.
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, she's just a princess. Like that's obviously
Yeah.
a
And I
thing.
mean like and she acts as like the mascot, but her story is probably one of the most tragic. Like the way she like thinks, like the her survivor's guilt, that type of stuff, because obviously the main AI, Greth, I think it's Greeth or something like that. That used to be her caretaker, her bodyguard. So yeah, it was really fascinating seeing how she dealt with all this stuff, because like I mean you're seeing like war through the eyes of a child, and there's all this like conflict going on, and like the way she initially talked to Shin was very hostile, mostly because I'm assuming that she just saw a lot of Greth and Shin, but Shin at that point had clearly like turned the corner, like he had like
Yeah.
grown as a character. I do feel like him getting over his brother's death, like it made sense, like when he like broke down and cried and stuff like that. But like for him to kind of like feel more loose and stuff like that, I really don't think that was like an accurate characterization of something like that, because like you know your brother's dead, you just saw like I assume like his head in the fucking in Legion. I'm like, I don't know how like you just like let go of that trauma and not let that consume you the entire time and become like a depressed boy through like any of that. But they're just like, yeah, he's fine now. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, no, like there's no shot he's okay. But it does show like the effects of him, you know, in the second half too, where like he like seems more cautious about what he's doing, right? He's kind of doubting himself, but in typical, you know, mecha anime form, he fucking shows up when he needs to, does a lot of badass shit. Jack, what did you think was a stronger half, the first or the second? Like, what did you prefer more for the show?
First.
I think the first.
Well,
Yeah,
I know that, Brad.
yeah. I think the first had more impact on me than the
Mhm.
second half.
I think you'd say that. He's like, we're the sad boy stuff, dude. Why are they happy?
Why are they?
I feel like not much was happening. Not as much was happening in the second half. It was more towards that mellow,
Yeah,
dramatic side.
it was kind of
and
like a slice of life a little bit. Yeah.
yeah. And again, I was starting to feel let down when Shin saw Lena, but wasn't gonna do anything, and I was like, she's there, and nothing's gonna happen. There's no fucking way.
Can you blame him though? Because they've never seen each other before. They only heard each other's voices, right?
True, but
And
he knew based off of
and at that point, I think the only like for like romantic implications, it was pretty much like kind of one sided. Like maybe Shin
Mhm.
didn't know it yet, but Lena
Yeah.
was like very much into him, even though he was just a post-it, you know, just
Right,
a drawing on a post-it note. That's true love
That
right
was so
there.
cute. That's true love on the post-it note.
That's true love right there.
What
she
you know
was a
about
peg.
What
Oh my
if
god, yeah.
what if Shin was Fido? Like, how did how did they describe that fucking weird?
Oh my
Oh,
god.
that would have been weird.
In another anime, that would have been like a thing. You fell in love with a vending machine.
Fell in love with your robot Fido.
Robot dog. It's like no,
Robot dog.
society can't judge us. Like we sure as fuck can. Like don't worry about that. Chibi, what about you? Which half?
You know my answer. I mean, the first half had more of a like a impact, but I think I preferred watching the second. I do like the build up a lot in the first part though. So to me, honestly, it was very 50-50.
Yeah, I like the expansion in the second half of like the world,
Mhm.
because I was curious, because like I was like, there's no way that
It's just
just
so
this, yeah.
small. Yeah, no,
It
I
ju-
agree. I
yeah.
liked seeing that.
it just made sense for there to be like more to this world than what there is, and like to the fact that we saw like them the different republics working together, which I thought was really
Mhm.
fascinating. But everyone still once again had ulterior motives, because you don't want to necessarily share trade secrets with one another. Like, why the fuck would I tell you that we're developing this super weapon? We don't want you to know that in case we ever get into war. And it really did reflect real life politics. Like that's
Mhm.
generally how that works. So I thought that was fascinating.
Mhm.
I'm just kind of surprised that like by now, since it came, the last episode was March 19th, 2022, that is like at least a third season. Maybe they're gonna wait till
I'm hoping they're cooking.
yeah, because I'm pretty sure
What
They're not
studio did this?
seasons.
I don't know. I think it was,
Because maybe they're busy with something. At
no,
the
it was
moment.
A1.
Oh.
A1's one of the busiest
dude.
studios. They
I love
Oh,
A1.
okay.
no, you don't. You love A1 steak sauce.
I do like A1 steak sauce.
Shut up, Brad. You like
Understand.
fucking Taco Bell. No.
I don't even.
No,
I don't even think I
hold
own. I don't even think I own A1. I usually use Worcestershire, if anything.
Nah, A1
Say that again?
superior.
Worcestershire.
What's your sister?
Well, A1 is like they're really popular, and they did Mashal. They finally, I
I
think
thought we
they,
were talking about the A1 sauce.
A1,
I was like, yeah, it is.
but A1 Studio, they're really popular. So like
Thank you.
I think they just finished up Nier, which is interesting because like Nier went on that hiatus after episode 6, and they just finished it up. I think like last week or something like that, maybe.
Near Automata.
Yeah, Nier Automata.
The one we
Um,
did not like.
I love that. I loved it. It's actually
I
really
did
good.
not.
They just did Solo Leveling, and
Oh.
then
Ready for season 2.
and then there's Too Many Losing Heroines, which is like one of the most popular anime of the season.
I saw that. I was gonna ask if you liked it.
It's
if I
very
should watch it.
very fucking funny.
All right, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I was surprised because I was like A1. Like a lot of people had issues with A1 previously because like they felt like they did far too many slice of lives. You know, I think they did Sword Art Online too, which I'm like, that's good animation. I think sometimes, but once again, like I think like the animation here in '86 was fine, except like I don't know what it was. Like the 3D stuff was iffy. Like when when you got to some of the action, I kind of liked when it got to like the like character drama, like when the characters were like dying. I felt like they went into like really good detail, but it felt like with the Juggernauts, it was like, all right, that looks okay. Let's have them jump around a little bit, shoot a fucking cannon, we're good. We'll move on about our day. How did everybody feel about the visuals in this too? This question.
They were okay. They weren't bad.
Yeah, I don't
They
think
were
it was
they were
bad
good.
at all.
The mech combat was very
Yes.
not static. Like
I was
it
gonna
was
say, I
there,
felt
there,
Like
it felt
copy
there was
paste.
wonky.
there yeah there was one like allied model, and then there was like 3 bad guy models. Like that was there was like 4 different models, and they just copy paste
Yeah.
across the battlefield. Like there was not a lot of variety. There we go. Variety is the word I was looking for. And then their techniques was either pull out the blades and like cut them in half, or shoot them with the big backpack gun.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they had grappling hooks.
Yeah, they had grappling hooks. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good
Because they're
shit.
spiders.
It's good shit,
so-
Jack. Way to watch. Way to pay attention, buddy.
He wasn't. Yeah.
Way
Anime.
to be there, my guy. No, it's gonna be anime anyway. Like Brett.
Yeah, it's always
Jack
anime.
When Jack's into an anime, like when he's into like one of these, he's like, "There's too much melodrama," and then it gets sad. He's like, "You know what? This one's hitting." Like, let me get a candle out, put some Green Day on, you know, like '90s Green Day.
When
He just sits there. He's like, "Yeah."
Where are you?
I need to get. I'm gonna play some My Chemical Romance.
I'm not.
Jack was in his element in the first half, and he's like, "Why is it so happy now? Like, what the fuck? It's sad
Like,
again."
where's my sad ending?
And then you get to the end of like the second half. He's like, "All right, this we're getting sad again." And he's like, "Oh, she's back? What the fuck? They meet? You two aren't supposed to have a happy ending. I can't do this right now."
Right.
Basically.
So we're
It'd
all
been
in
great
agreement, right? Well, go ahead, Brett.
It would have been great if she walked up to him. She's like, "You're not tall enough," and just like walks
Oh.
off.
Damn.
You said you were 6 foot.
You are 5'11".
Yeah. You're 5'11" and like 3/8. He's like, "What the fuck?"
Colby.
Is that Colby? Damn, we gotta give
Colby's
him.
not.
Why you gotta take a shot at him? What the fuck, man?
No, it's funny because he's literally 5'11" and like 3'4".
Brad, notice how like Jack is like uncomfortable with this conversation about height.
Hey,
He's like,
hey. Height is a very sensitive topic of mine.
he's
It
like,
goes right
Okay,
over your
Jack.
head, though.
Okay.
what's up?
Damn. That's fucked
Wow.
up.
Oh, God.
Burn. Crazy.
Damn. He had that one locked and ready.
He did.
He's been holding it in for a little bit.
It's been.
It's been in my back pocket for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna get this little bitch.
There's
Bang!
a moment.
Back.
So we're all in agreement that 86 is great anime. We recommend it
Yes.
to everybody. We hope that Brad watches the second half. He probably won't. If you're okay with anime that has deeper themes instead of just racism for Brad, I'm gonna fucking zoom in on his face. If you like racism,
Please.
I'm gonna put like white guy. Just stamp like the whole big old fucking just white. Across
Well,
the
it
screen.
was funny. He was
That
like,
right
he was
there,
like,
would've-
he-
Go ahead.
my friend was like, "Well, the show's about racism, but it's white people being racist against lesser white people." And that's pretty much. He's like, "That's all the way I can."
Was
explain
he
it." Like, they have,
confused
like-
because that shit happened in history? That
See,
this fucking.
see, little
He's like-
do we know.
Let me tell you something right now. Tell you something right
where
now.
We're the 86, and he's our handler.
I'm half, dude, so I'm good. I'll just code switch somehow. Howdy, how are you?
It's
The code switch.
Dude, that's why my whole name is white, bro. Like my whole name is white. There's not like an Asian touch to my name at all, dude. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, it's basically Ender's Game, but they know, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, like, hey, they actually are people, and we don't care.
You know, it's interesting. There's like rare moments in these podcasts, especially the anime stuff, where Brad has a good point. And sometimes I get really impressed because it usually comes in the form of if we watch an anime with substance to it, where Brad will bring up certain things where I'm like, you know what, dude? Maybe he's not as dumb as I fucking think he is. He's not just thinking about the Alabama. He's like, after this, we're going to Red Lobster. Have me some cheese biscuits.
They're going out of business though, so we can't do that.
No, you don't have to go to Red Lobster, buddy. You can go to Long John Silver's or whatever the fuck Brandon wanted to go to.
You can buy that bitch in a box now.
Yeah, exactly.
You can buy it in a box,
Captain
and it's just as
D's.
good.
What'd you say, Brad?
Captain D's.
Captain D's.
Yeah. Captain D's is good. I haven't
I like
been there
the
in a
crack
hot
ones.
minute.
So the next anime is going to be decided by Brad, right?
Oh.
Because it was Jack. Jack, good job, by the way. Proud of you.
Thanks.
Makes up for the fact that you chose like a bunch of horny ones, which, you know, whatever. Just like,
He said,
you know,
It
there is no argument against that either because he fucking knows. He knows that he did that.
Listen,
is
he
what
made
it
up for
is.
It is what it is.
You don't understand, bro. I got this one hit. So I'm going to ride this bitch until the sunset. That's what we're going to do. Brad, you had a list, I think, that you shared with your semi-racist friend. So at work.
Stop.
It's
I'm about to start
it's not
snorting.
semi. It is not semi at all.
I want him to watch.
Emphasis
Like you
on
tell him
not
to watch
semi.
this shit. You tell him to watch this episode so I can fucking bring him up. multiple
Specifically,
times.
this last part.
Trying to tell him that we do a not only a video game podcast but also an anime podcast, and he is. I don't know. He has like 5 kids or something, and he's like, yeah, man, I've actually watched all of this like season of animes. He's like, because he'll pull up like the whole list of like everything that's
His
released.
doc.
He's like, this one's good, this one's good, this one's bad, this one's really incest like, so don't watch that one. This one's weird, this one's weird. This one's great, this one's great. I'm like, dude, how do you watch all of these like
With your
in
kid.
like
Because he
a
has
month?
kids, bro. Like,
You
dude,
let your kid watch your incest animes with you.
you're gonna have some like insides. I mean, he's probably watching the incest stuff by himself on his phone. He's like, "Hey,
Hey,
Brad, you're into this, right? You're from Alabama. Like, this is you. This is you." Brad leans up, like, "God damn, boy, you got me."
God damn, he got me.
Bookmarked.
Bookmark. Favorited.
You're right.
Watching for later.
I don't think you understand. I've now favored this anime. This is in my top 10. This
Yeah,
reminds me of home.
I don't have anything right now, but
I know you had that list, dude. Like,
yeah, I do have a list. I don't remember.
Didn't you want to watch Solo Leveling too?
Well, yeah, I mean, we I think, did we talk about that?
We've talked around. We've talked about
Talked around
it.
it, yeah.
Yeah, we've talked.
We've actually never did an episode about it.
No.
I
Never.
thought we did.
And
but
the second
yeah.
season
I thought we did
is
too.
upcoming at the end of the year, I think, right?
I'd be down to watch
Sure.
that.
It's so good. I love it because Ken
Yeah.
didn't like it, and I loved it.
yeah.
I like. I'm telling you, maybe I'll like it
Wait.
on my second watch. It's probably
You choose,
Love it.
though. You tell us one.
Oh yeah, no, it's not going to be Solo Leveling. I mean, no, I had the same like the first episode was like amazing to me. I was like, this is very intense, and then it just dives off a cliff for like 6 episodes, and then it picks back up in the last 3 or 4 episodes of the season.
I think
it's just
I know
filler
where it's
content.
going.
And that's fair.
Yeah,
No.
maybe just like specific cutoffs or whatever. Let's see.
Let's see,
I'm just
True-
all I
True
know
Beauty.
is
Yeah.
True Beauty. Sure.
What do you say?
You said True Beauty.
It looks like something that Jack would like.
Thanks. Don't worry.
Where
I
are
will,
you?
I will wreck my 1-win streak with a horrible one. The next choice.
Once bullied for her looks.
Did you call this a 1-win streak?
Wait, isn't True Beauty
Let's
a
call this.
manhwa?
Let's call this an
That's an anime
aberration.
now?
How about that?
I don't know.
Hold on, let me look this up.
I don't know how to say her name. Jeong Young transforms herself using the art of makeup.
Wait, this is an anime now? What? No
Yes.
way.
It says just updated on Crunchyroll. I'm looking at a list right now.
Yo, this used to be one of my favorite fucking manga or
All right,
manhwas.
I'm
Dude,
sorry,
what?
guys. I didn't
Oh.
mean to bring this up.
When
I
did this come out?
feel like I've ruined the whole vibe.
Oh my
now.
god. I'm about to start watching it right now. Thank you, Brad. Wow.
I guess I gotta.
Wow.
Guess I gotta
Wow.
pick Parasite now.
Wow.
So
Oh my god, I'm
Parasite.
so excited. Okay, sorry.
or
So Brad hasn't decided yet.
or Baku. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're going on like a small 2-week hiatus
Oh,
anyway.
that is true. That is true.
Nani?
I'm in Canada next week, so
Yo,
me-
And
TFTI.
then, oh my god, that's so loud.
no.
And then next month I'll be gone. So,
Damn,
That's
TFTI.
like next month, like the end of the month, right? Like, oh god, we can still get like 2 episodes, and dude, shut the fuck up.
nope.
Yeah, I might be out the end of next month.
Yeah, you're
Damn,
going to
TFTI.
you're going to London, right?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Nice.
Hmm.
He's gonna be out there.
I'm waiting on work to approve it.
Ah,
Damn, y'all got some interesting lives,
I hate when
bro.
that happens.
most of my family's in
Crazy.
Canada, so they're like, it's about time.
Explains
I'm
a
just
lot.
going out there to watch more sad boy anime. That's all.
To London? What the fuck?
He's
No.
going to Anime Con. So,
That would be so weird if you went to like overseas to just be sad, bro. You be sad at your home, dude.
well, I mean, London.
Why
seems
not
like a
expand
sad-
on that
Why
sadness?
spend money to be sad when you could just not spend money to be sad?
Because he could
Be
'cause
sad
he
for
could
free.
Be sad
Because
for
he
free.
could eat beans for breakfast and be sad.
Oh man. Yeah, that's a big
that's a
thing
pretty-
That's
there.
kind of the one thing I was not a fan of when I was like overseas in like the UK is their food, for the most part. If it's not like Indian food, it's not fucking good, man. It's not great. Very bland.
They have like the top 10 restaurants in the world in London,
Mhm.
but they're all French.
Yeah, they're all, they ain't fucking English. Oh my god.
I'll figure something out.
All right.
This
Oh god.
so
I
I'm
mean,
a
we got
spider, so
time.
what looks pretty good.
Yeah,
We
there's
got-
plenty of time.
Did you say? What'd you say, Brad?
So I'm a spider, so what? That I mean that
Oh,
looks
I think that was
that looks
also like a
decent.
light novel hit like a couple years ago. Yeah, I don't think you'd like the animation. It's very much like cell shaded 3D
Pokemon?
ish.
Oh yeah.
Pokemon, which one?
I don't
I ain't watching that whole fucking
All of
thing, bro.
them.
Just pick a movie. Pick a recap. Yeah, because I told Brandon we're gonna watch like Mortal Kombat. Just so, yeah, I mean he wants
I
to.
forgot about
Oh
that.
yeah, I thought we were gonna do that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be the next Pixelated Thoughts episode.
Okay.
For the anime stuff, Brad has to choose, and then whenever we all get back, whatever, I'll still be making some of these here vidges because we have like a lot of Halloween stuff upcoming. Jack has a list of stuff. I assume, Chibi, when you have time, when you're not getting killed by your job, you're gonna fucking stream.
Are we dressing up for the
Yes.
week of
I'm
Halloween?
down. I'm down.
Who the fuck is we, bro?
All of us. B.
Who wouldn't?
I'm gonna put like a fucking hat on. I guess I don't.
Just put little cat ears on. I know your daughter has one. Just
I'll
put
wear
little
my
cat
Jack.
ears.
I don't think she does.
I'll wear my Jack hat and just be Jack for Halloween.
Son, you know what you're gonna have to do to be Jack for Halloween, brother. You're gonna have to like lower that chair a bunch.
That's
walk
fucked
walk
up.
on my knees.
Jack, I stand beside you.
Fuck
This
y'all.
That's
Except for
not
Chibi.
funny.
I don't think people understand right now that chair is like boosted up by a couple books and shit. He's not stepping down. He has like an entire
I
step
can
ladder.
lower this chair a little bit, you
I'm
fuck.
not saying
Hold on.
anything.
Don't
Actually-
give in, Jack. Don't
There we go.
That's-
You can do it from down here, you
There-
fucks.
There's Jack. See, have you guys noticed how the camera angle's set up? It's
This
not.
is my
it's-
real height.
Yeah, I know.
Son
of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
He stands up. He's the same height. It's crazy.
I know.
That's me. That's me. Let's be real. It's not even Jack, bro. That's me. Jack, don't worry. That's me, not you.
Bro's half Filipino. It's like the one thing that he didn't have is the thing that I have is the height. So-
No, I blame my parents. They're both short.
Unfortunate, brother. Jack's gonna be having how many times you gonna stream next month, Jack?
I'm I'm gonna try to stream at least three times a week.
Bunch of new games. We'll try to do at least one where we play Outlast Trials, so Brad will be happy, and hopefully Chibi doesn't have a fucking heart attack.
I will.
Chibi, are you gonna stream the month of, or just like just do like a
No,
Halloween stream?
I'm gonna start coming back this week actually on Friday. I
Okay.
feel like now I finally
Don't
kind of have my schedule.
I was gonna say don't hate yourself.
Yeah, basically I don't hate myself. And I feel pretty good coming back, so we'll pick it up again.
That upsets Jack that you're happy, probably.
I'm
Well,
just
I'm
gonna
not
start
happy,
doing the
but it's
podcast at
fine.
this height all the time now.
Bro,
Don't give
It
in,
feels more
Jack.
natural. It feels
Never
more
give
natural
up.
that
Never
way.
give
he
in.
looks, dude. I don't want to look at his screen because it makes me laugh.
Oh, fuck up.
It makes me laugh so much because like he looks really small compared to like his entire background. Don't avert your eyes, people. Like he is as tall as that couch behind him.
What you're saying is I actually hopped off my chair and I'm standing.
This man's got really big furniture. He confuses everyone when they show up.
It's a perspective thing. It's a perspective thing.
See, I do the illusion very well.
Bro,
Which-
imagine if
Those,
it
those
was.
chairs are actually like 40 feet behind him.
Oh shit. Okay. Does anybody have anything else?
No.
No. All right.
Hashtag I stand by Jack.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, he's got to stand.
No,
to-
I knew you were. I knew
he's-
what you were gonna say.
he's-
Don't
they-
fucking
you
do
both have to stand to be seen anyway. So.
it. God damn! I knew he was going with that.
All right. Brad, I swear to God, I will not cut you off if you do the outro. Please.
See you later, guys. Bye bye.
Yes. Bye, everybody.